let's talk about gods. Here's why I think gods are ruining fantasy settings, especially low magic games in D&D. Now, hear me out. Let me walk you through this. First of all, let's dive into the concept of a god. These are powerful beings, right? Older than time, that are capable of doing things that break the idea of what is real and physically possible. They are beings that transcend the laws that we as mortals and even immortals like elves understand. They are beyond comprehension because, well, they created everything, or at least that's usually how it goes. Now, the Dungeon Master's Guide offers a lot of pantheons. However, if you're a world builder like me, you're probably creating your own, and a lot of thought goes into that. Now, creating the gods is not something I have a problem with. I think it's fun to think about these otherworldly entities and talk about what makes them so powerful and creating hierarchies and enemies and lore. Where the idea of gods in any story setting starts to get weird for me is when they start appearing or specifically communicating with players. Here's why. Firstly, a god speaking to a human or an elf or whatever usually is portrayed as another human or humanoid. This always kind of irked me. Now, I get it, they are presenting themselves in a way that makes them relatable or whatever, because otherwise it would be hard to comprehend what their real physical form is, whatever. To me, it's just immersion breaking. For me, it just never sits right and makes me feel like they're powerful beings rather than actual gods. Now, obviously there are lots of people that disagree and find it fun and are able to wrap their minds around that. Maybe that's just me. Look, I get it. You want to be the DM that blows everyone's mind. You want to have a session so good that players can't stop bragging about you. But sadly, it just never happens. You put all of that work in, and they just do their thing. You know, they eat their pizza, and they go home with a see you next week gang. Well, here's the trick to taking your session from just another week to holy that gave me the chills. Describe is a platform where the DM gets one subscription. Literally, if every player chipped in the price of a coffee, you could play for a whole year. And the DM builds these incredible immersive soundscapes with maps and text and ambience and music and sound effects all right there in one spot for all of the players to experience right there. And if you want to check out what I mean, click the link down below and use my code FANTASYFORGE. I literally got chills the first time I was being run through the program. I can't even imagine what it must be like for players the first time. So go check out Describe. You won't regret it. It's the secret trick you've been looking for. And if your players don't lose their minds the first time you introduce it to them, then honestly, they just don't deserve you. Now, next is to consider the implications of these interactions, right? When a god communicates directly with a player, it completely shifts the power dynamic of the game. It can quickly turn into a situation where the god becomes a crutch for the players. They become relied upon to solve their problems or to be the Deus Ex Machina that saves the day when the party's in a bind. If that's cool with you as a DM, that's great, but what I've noticed is that the cleric or the paladin quickly starts praying every chance they get. And at least at my table, I really like having players be the ones proving their worth, not relying on intervention from other beings. Moreover, it diminishes the mystique and the mystery of these all-powerful beings. If gods are too accessible, they begin to feel like just another NPC, and their awe-inspiring presence is reduced to that of a regular character in the story. It takes away from the grandeur and the existential dread that often accompanies the idea of divine being. Now, here's the part that really grinds my gears: divine intervention. When gods start changing the outcomes of events in a tangible way, it can invalidate the player's choices and efforts. It's like telling your players that no matter what they do, the gods can just come in and rewrite the narrative. Where's the fun in that? And let's talk about the impact on world mechanics, especially in low magic settings. The presence of active interventionist gods can make the whole concept of magic mundane. If gods are just handing out miracles and answering prayers willy-nilly, why would anyone bother learning to cast spells or study ancient tomes? It can completely disrupt the balance and the very essence of what makes low magic settings so intriguing: the rarity and the cost of magical power. So then the question becomes, well, how do you make them work in the game? Again, this is all an opinion, but for me, I prefer when their presence is felt in the world through their teachings or their relics that they've left behind, or rare miraculous events that have no clear explanation. They could be the source of ancient mysteries and quests that drive the players to explore and discover the secrets of the divine on their own without the gods ever needing to make a personal appearance. Now, I'm not saying that gods should never interact with the world, but it's about how and the why. These interactions should be extraordinary, they should be rare, and truly deserving of the god's attention. And even then, they should maintain their divine essence, not just pop in for a chat like a next door neighbor. So what are your thoughts? Do you think that gods are better left as distant and mysterious, or do you enjoy when they roll up their divine sleeves and get directly involved in the world? Let me know in the comments down below. And remember, whether you're for or against divine intervention, the most important thing is that everyone at the table is on the same page and enjoying the story that you're all creating together. And now it's time for some quick shout-outs. River Osgood 8210 says, also my dear Tobias at 4:59. Good catch. Sergeant War Potato says, Tobias chilling with the party before an encounter. Every time. Critscraft says, Tobias at about 5 minutes. Is he joining the campaign too? He's been there the whole time. And Lorkin22 says, kitty. You mean Displacer Kitten. Now, if you were paying attention in today's video, leave a timestamp in the comments down below with where you saw Tobias, and you just might get shouted out in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, forge on, my friends, and we'll see you next time, adventurers.